Live.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Tilted Table. We are very excited to be back after a bit of a hiatus for the holidays. It's been, 3 weeks?
It's been a while.
It's been a while, but we appreciate you all hanging out with us tonight and coming back after some time off. We hope you all had an amazing Thanksgiving holiday, had a lot of amazing food, which I'm eating leftovers of right now. So, quick introductions. My name is Jordan, aka Axel Hellfire.
I'm Sam, aka DJ Fluffkins. By the way, audio works. Just saying.
Audio works? What? Crazy. Yes. So, tonight we're doing a little bit of a special show.
Special show.
Yes. We're not going to be playing games tonight. We're actually going to be giving you a preview of some new and interesting games that are coming out or have come out this fall and winter season. So, what? Kit with the 10-month resub. Holy crap, 10 months of Cabot. Mwahaha, also I want those games.
You know.
So,
No judgment.
yeah. So the wonderful folks at PSI sent us the Winter Box O' Fun, which features a bunch of different games from different publishers, and we're going to go through and take a look at them all today and show you what is coming out this year that you should take a look at. We've got this handy-dandy booklet here that gives us a good overview of all the games. We're also going to open them all up, show you what's inside, and all that goodness. So if you
just called this the unboxing stream.
Yeah, it is basically an unboxing stream. And of course, if you have any questions about the games while we have them open, we can definitely dive into that. So, let's get started here with our smallest game, and perhaps the cutest, called Blob Lobber.
Blob Lobber.
Yeah.
It is a fast-paced and silly dexterity game for the whole family.
Yes, can you say that 10 times fast, Sam?
A fast-paced and silly dexterity game for the whole family. A fast-paced and silly dexterity game for the whole family. A fast-paced and silly dexterity game for the whole family. Can't stop me.
No, I meant Blob Lobber.
Oh. Blah, 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 blah.
Awesome, Kit. We'll look forward to that. So, as Sam said, it is a fast and fun dexterity game for the whole family. Blob Lobber. This game is a Steve Jackson Games special, and it's super cute. The entire game is played with these little discs, so it's very portable. And these discs have what is called a bomb on one side, and then they have blobs, one or more blobs on the other side. Now,
And then you lob them?
yes, and then you lob them. Now, there are a couple different types here. Shouldn't be unless it fell out when I was moving it. No, there's still one in here. Erg!
So,
Oh, that wasn't it.
ooh.
I don't know. Maybe there's even more.
Maybe I just didn't shuffle it right.
Maybe it fell out when I was moving it. It's possible. I blame Guilty, really.
Yeah.
Guilty had this
is
last.
guilty.
Anyways, so there are normally 4 of these white bordered blobs, which are called the queens. I believe it's a box you can buy. You can check if you want to check online while we're doing this. I don't actually know how many of these are. Oh, here it was. They were just stuck together.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how many of these are for sale yet, but we should figure that out on the stream while we're talking about this. So you basically set this game up with a. We won't set all these games up. This one's quick, so I'm going to just show you all. You set this game up with the 4 queens on the corners, and then like a randomly dealt blob in the center, and you're supposed to space them exactly 1 card away from the center, right? And so you make this little square. And the way that it works is the rest of these get shuffled together, and we draw them one at a time, and then you basically lob or otherwise drop them onto the table. And there are a couple rules for that. We won't go over all of them, but the main rule that you need to know about is that it has to rotate at least once on the way down, so you can't just like drop it flat. But there's like a couple rules just to make sure that you don't game the system. And you basically just let it fall, and if it lands with the blob side up, nothing happens. But if it lands with the bomb side up, and it is on top of another card, another blob card, you claim that blob, right? And so basically what you're trying to do is you're trying to collect all blobs of colors other than yours. Each of the players will have one color assigned to them, and then you're just trying to collect blobs that are worth more points. So some of the cards have blobs, multiple blobs of different colors on them, right? So you might, one of them might be your color, they might neither be your color, and thus worth more points. And then the queens themselves are worth extra points as well. And so as more of them land face up, you'll get like more of them on the board, and then when you eventually land a bomb, you'll be able to collect everything that it's on top of. So this is just like a really fun, quick game that you can play a lot of rounds of. Yo, Dark Citadel, what's up? It looks like this is a box that is available to retailers, not available for purchase. That makes sense. Like I said, this is a preview, so these are all coming soon. Some of them may be available, some of them may not be. In this case, Bloblobber is apparently still coming. So,
you guys getting some weird frame drops? Let me know if you're getting weird frame drops.
Can you see us wave? Okay. Oh, your stream froze and you had to reload? Interesting. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much all you need to know about this game. We actually played this the other night with Guilty and tested it out. It was like a super fun, quick game. It's not very complicated. I know that there are some people who are probably like playing the game, inventing different ways to drop it to like increase their chances of getting the bomb side. My personal favorite is to just hold it blob side up and let it fall off my fingers and hope that it just does a single rotation. But it's just a fun, quick game that you can play with people of any ages. It kind of made me think of Pogs.
Oh, God.
And I kind of wanted them to print a Pog version where you launch Pogs into the middle instead of dropping them.
That would be... Okay, honestly, if it was like, oh, you put it here and then you, like, flick it. Like, that would almost be more fun, because, like...
I mean, house rules.
Oh, yeah. It's true.
I did see your haul from Black Friday. Good Critters is $25. Untold Adventures is $29. Truck Off, $22. Koi, $40. Bloblobber, $7. So for $7...
$6.95?
$6.95. And then it's Mini Diver City is the actual name. I don't know if that helps find it. It may just not be for sale yet.
We have the prices in the book, too, of what they're supposed to be.
Oh, so what does it say for Mini Diver City? That is a good question.
$19.99.
There you go.
1 to 7 players.
$20 minus
All right.
1 cent. So that's Bloblobber. I think that from a gameplay and thematic standpoint, it really makes me think of like a pub game.
Yeah.
I
was going to say, which brings up my one complaint about it.
I think our one potential criticism, having not actually played it in a pub, is just that these discs are very thin and lightweight material, which of course makes it good for not being able to tell how they're going to flip, but it makes me worried about playing it in a pub setting where the table might be sticky or someone might spill a drink or something. I feel like the first time I played this at a bar, exactly. But otherwise, like the style of game, it feels like somebody designed this game using coasters in a bar, right? Yeah. Because that is literally the shape of these tokens. And I think that the style of game being like light and you don't have to think about it and people can just pick it up and play it, all of that works really, really well, in my opinion. But I would like maybe just a little nicer card stock.
Other real complaint here is it's rated for 3 to 4 players, which kind of sucks, because like a game like this, I mean, there's probably some balance mechanic in it that we're not like fully aware of.
They only have 4 colors.
Yeah. No. I'm saying, Misprint. The book says 3 to 4, but the game says 2 to 4.
Yeah.
All right,
Sorry.
that makes more sense.
Yes, it is 2 to 4. We played it with 2 and it worked.
Yeah, because if you had to
Just
have
to
3,
clarify.
that would actually kind of suck.
Yes. So it is a 2 to 4 player game, which is important. It is rated for, what does it say on here? Does it say what it's
20
rated
minutes.
For? Rated for 20 minutes, and I don't know what ages. Oh, here we go. 6 and up. Although really, just old enough not to eat them, pretty much. All the games are available now on Amazon. Oh, you found it. Cool. So they're all on Amazon, Kit. There you go. Is that really designed to be a pub game, though? No, you're right. It is a fun kid game. I'm just saying that, like, as an adult, as a person who is not a kid, I might be willing to pay $7 to have a game that this size that travels really nicely to take to bars where, you know, you're at one of those bars that has one of those round standing height tables and you got like a couple drinks and you just pull this out. I would even say that, you know, for $10 or whatever, they could produce a nicer version of this game that maybe has a little nicer cardstock and comes in like a one of those felt bags instead of the box.
Yeah.
And that would be really, really cool. But all in all, really cheap game. The art is really nice. We just want thicker cards.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is, like, the gameplay, like, I'm just not, I probably wouldn't buy it. Like,
Yeah.
I would probably play it if a friend had it, but, like, yeah, it's not, I don't think there's a high level of strategy or complexities in the game. So.
Definitely targeted for kids. I think my nephew would love it. I think both of my nephews would love playing it. And I would be tempted to get them this as a Christmas present or something like that. So that's Blah Blobber by Steve Jackson Games. $7. You can get it on Amazon. I don't think we have our Amazon affiliate link up, but if we have an old link up, you can just click that below the stream if you want to buy any of these games. And then once you've clicked the link, and then you can search for the game. And if you buy it, it will support the stream or no. It's totally cool either way. But we're just telling you that's a thing you can do. It's not cool with Sam. It's cool with
It's not cool.
All right. So let's move on.
If you're not supporting the stream, you should be supporting charity.
Let's move on to Mini Diver City.
Whoa! I gotta flip the extra. Yeah, flip many pages for that one.
I know, it's so far away. All right, Sam, tell us about Mini Diver City.
So it is. You are saving marine species before the industries destroy their habitat.
Ooh.
Available for $19.99. 1 to 7 players, 15 to 20-minute game. Your team of divers is fighting against time to protect the archipelago and turn it into a national park before the fishing, petrol, and tourism industries can get complete control of it and destroy the coral reefs. Show the government that species diversity is wide enough to justify the coral reef transformation in a national park, and you'll win the game. If you fail, the industries will take over and exploit the islands and the coral reefs.
That's cool. I like the theme being like an environmentally conscious theme. That's kind of cool. Also, we got a promo card in the pack, which is kind of cool. I don't know what the card means, but it looks cool.
Should I open this?
Yeah, we'll open it and take a look. So
You didn't use the easy open?
no, I didn't. I was too busy listening to your amazing explanation.
Yeah.
It's Captain Ocean, the card game.
Am I?
And yes, Kit, you are a charity. This is true.
All right.
So, if you want to pull some of these out, so this is a card game. It does come with some cool tokens that we won't punch out now, but they have like a bunch of different sea creatures on them. Sam, why don't you tell us a little bit about the art on these cards while I'm figuring out sort of a little bit about the game?
Yeah, I mean, so these are just these look like sea creatures. Talking about species diversity, it's kind of cool. There's small things in all 4 areas, which lead me to believe that, you know, these can be tucked under things maybe, and you can still see that it's like a hammerhead. It's very like Florida-esque, and it's fun. These are all good quality cards. They're fun. They're colorful. They're very blue because it's the ocean.
This is a 1 to 7 player game, though it is normally 1 to 6, and there is a variant wherein a 7th player can be the industrialist.
Powerfish. You.
There are a bunch of cards here that match up to the tokens, and they actually have one of each of the sea creatures that are on the tokens. And in the setup, you kind of shuffle these up and lay them out like this to make a scale of all of them. And I'm not sure what that means yet, but there's like a different ranking or ordering each game for different species that I imagine affects other things that you can do.
I'm guessing you put the tokens on each one of these, and if they're doing well, you move them to green. If they're going extinct, they go to
exactly. Yeah. So,
make a green for it. Thanks, guys.
Okay, so we basically play species cards from our hands without looking at them, and we move the token. You move that corresponding species token closer to survival, right? And then you can okay. So this is Hanabi. This is Captain Planet Hanabi. So everyone has a hand of species that they cannot see. You can show them to the other players. You can't see them. You can actually see all of those right now, Sam. And basically, you play one from your hand and then move it closer to survival without knowing what it is because you haven't seen it yet. And then after you do that, you can use your walkie-talkie to tell... You can either play a card or you can use your walkie-talkie to tell one player all of the species that they have in their hand. So this is way more... That part's way more powerful than Hanabi. You can basically just be like, you have this and this and this and this and this. It's the only direct information you're allowed to share. And then the third thing you can do is close down a hotel. So you can... is that what these are? No. There's some hotel cards that have like hotel or island signs. So the third thing you can do is discard a species card from your hand and turn hotels back into islands. Everyone has these diver cards that have unique abilities that will do things. So different players will have different abilities, which is kind of cool. Makes it a little bit unique each time. And then the game objective is saving as many species as you can, and there's different difficulties levels that change the number you have to save. Okay. So in between each diver's turn, there is a corporation turn, in which we flip a card from the corporation deck and do whatever it does. One of the cards makes people discard cards from their hands, and that moves that species closer to extinction. Another one discards a card from the species deck and moves it towards extinction. And then the third one gives you hotel cards that you flip, right? So basically, somewhere in here we have some... here we go. Yeah, we have the island and hotel cards that Sam found. So I think they all start as islands, and then they can be flipped to become hotels eventually, and then we can flip them back. And so basically, this is a game wherein the game itself will take turns ruining some of your species, and then you have to, without being able to see your cards, figure out where the actual species that you need to save is in your hand and move it back closer to survival instead of extinction.
Dark Citadel's here.
Oh, hey. Yeah, Dark Citadel.
Oh, sorry.
Dark Citadel is here. Didn't I see Mr. Draco or somebody a bit ago? I can't scroll up in chat far enough.
They have chasing the scale on the critters. They do not.
Yeah. So you can save species. You can save species by moving their token off the card, but they go extinct if they move off the card in the other direction. So basically, you have this middle section that there's like a tug of war, and you're trying to save as many fees as you can. So like constantly you're trying to play the right cards from your hand while the corporations are basically just making random species extinct. And that's pretty much it. You cannot, just like Hanabi, the only table talk that is allowed is the specific mechanic in the game where you can tell people what cards they have as your turn. So that's pretty much the whole game. It seems pretty straightforward. In fact, obviously there's like a few things we didn't cover, like what certain cards do and stuff like that. But oh, cool. And the promo card was a corporation card that did something possibly crazy. So
That's crazy.
so this game, the card stock isn't anything particularly good to talk about, but the artwork is actually really nice and colorful, I think.
Yeah.
The different card types have different backs, and the backs aren't boring. Like you have like a literal Captain Planet card for the divers, which is like all of the people on Team Planet, and then you have like the money grubbing, dynamite, chain smoking corporation people, and then the species cards are nice and colorful. They're very well symboled.
They're color coded and symbol coded.
Yes, that's really nice having the islands be color and symbol coded. Yeah, everything, nothing relies just on color, but it is very colorful. Even the survival versus extinction, which is green and red, which is like obviously a problem as being the highest form of color blindness, uses a picture of a globe versus a picture of like a dead fish skeleton to differentiate them so that it's very easy to tell.
Still waiting to see if you get into Twitch Saints after watching Sam. Yes. It'll happen someday.
Did you crush it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got
Standing O?
Of course. Of course. I imagine Kit was standing, clapping.
Yeah, I believe it. So yeah, that's Mini Diver City. This is another game that I think is it's pretty portable. The box is super small. It's all cards except for these tokens. And if you didn't have the tokens with you, you could just put the cards in like a deck box and use quarters for this. So that's pretty nice.
Yeah, I think my one complaint is like, depending on how the game actually plays out, like $20 seems actually kind of expensive for this because of like how established out like games like Hanabi are. Like, I would, like 15 seems reasonable.
Yeah, is that what it actually was on Amazon when you looked it up, Dark Citadel? Was it actually 20? Just curious.
Or Draco. I think it was
or maybe it was Draco that was looking it up. Because the stuff we have is just the MSRP. We don't know what it's actually selling for. Kit was singing along. We were that good.
Of course.
So that's Mini Diver City by Maxime Tardif, published by Sphere Games. It's a pretty cute, colorful box. I like it. I agree with Sam that it feels like $15 is the right price point. $20 isn't outrageous, but I think $15 is what I would expect to pay for it. And I think this is a game that we will definitely consider streaming at some point. It seems super fun, super easy to pick up, so I'm looking forward to that.
Sure.
All right.
Good Critters.
What's next? Good Critters.
It is a game of bribing and manipulating critters to get the loot. All of the loot. Ooh. MSRP $24.99. 4 to 8 players. 30 to 45 minutes. Good Critters is a game for 4 to 8 criminal critters who are pulling off heists and fighting over the loot. Whoever is chosen as the boss can distribute the loot from the heist however they desire, but it's the crew that has the final say. If the crew doesn't like the split, they might just tell the boss to take a hike and put some other critter in charge. In the end, the critter that collects the most valuable stash wins.
I gotta say, just right off the bat, I love the name. I love that they just went like, oh yeah, we're gonna make the animal version of Goodfellas and call it Good Critters. That's just Criminal Cabot. Oh, I thought if you look up Mini Diver City, I thought you did find it. Or maybe it was Mr. Draco that found it. It's somebody said it was definitely on there, Dark Citadel. It's Mini Diver City, not just Diver City. I don't know if there is a larger Diver City or if they just called it Mini because the game is small. I'm not really sure, but yeah, the full name is Mini Diver City. All right, so what do we got in the way of components here?
I think these are voting tokens. It looks like. Yeah, yes and no's. You got a boss card. The boss card is actually a ring.
Ooh,
Check that out. Boom. It's pretty good. Looks like you got character tokens here.
Yep.
It's pretty nifty.
Some loot cards. Some action cards.
Oh, we got stands. I'm assuming. Well,
The stands are for the players and
That's
the
cool.
boss token.
We got some cash money.
Oh, there you go. Kit found Mini Diver City for $14.49 on Cool Stuff Inc.
Yeah.
That is
That's
the
why I
price
said
point
the
right
price.
there. We just said we thought it would be 15, and there you go. They're selling it for 50 cents less than that. So that's a bargain.
These are zoo bucks.
Yes.
$1,000 zoo bucks. That's pretty cool. That's what we got here. These are loot cards.
Yep. Loot cards come in different cash values. The Zoo Bucks are also known as payoff cards to use as bribes.
Oh yeah, I see. So the loot has a value to it, but you can pay off bribes with cash money.
Right.
Okay, cool.
Also, this game has some cool flavor text in the beginning, so we'll read this out. Okay, so it's $20 on Amazon, but $14.49 on Cool Stuff. Well, there you go. I think Cool Stuff has the right price point there. Okay, so hey boss, that was quite a haul here we got, huh? Wasn't it, huh? What's that? That's my whole share, eh? Is it? I don't know. Maybe it's time somebody else calls a shot around here. What's that? I don't got the muscle? Well, let's see what the other critters have to say about that.
No.
Yeah, so basically this game is all about it is time to split the loot after the heist. So we are a truly wild gang that makes a business of stealing piles of loot. And you're basically trying to be the person who has the most valuable stash of loot at the end of the game. So there is you take the deck and you split it into a number of equal parts that are, you have 2 piles more than the number of players. So there's like a bunch of different piles of loot, and you're trying to basically divvy up that loot, and you have more piles than you need. And then each round has 4 steps. You show the loot, so they turn over a number of cards from the top of the loot pile equal to the number of players plus 2, put them in the middle of the table. Then the second thing you do is distribute the loot. The boss can distribute the cards however they want. They do not have to give everyone a card. They can even give everything to one player if they want, or even themselves. But all of the face-up cards must be distributed. Once the loot has been distributed, nobody takes their share yet, but the shares have been set out. And so the third step that happens is everyone chooses actions to play. And everyone has 5 of action cards, as Sam has been showing you. There's a vote yes, a vote no, a skim, rob, and guard. And everyone chooses 1 action card, puts it face down in front of you, and then once everyone has chosen a card, you reveal them all at once. But you can also use optional payoff rules to bribe players to change their vote. And there's rules for how that works. So that's what the payoff is for, is bribing people to play a certain action. So basically, in order to stay the boss has to distribute the loot in such a way that the majority of the crew votes yes on the way he distributed the loot.
Cool.
right? So you try and make some friends by offering decent shares of loot to enough people to keep them on your side. And then, let's see. So if you vote yes, then you're voting in favor of the distribution. Obviously, if you vote no, it's the opposite. The boss is even allowed to vote no on themselves. Then Skim allows you to take the top loot card from the loot pile and add it to your stash.
Instead of voting?
Instead of voting, but only the first player to reveal a Skim card each round gets to carry out this action. So I think you reveal them in clockwise order, starting with the boss. So the closer you are to the boss, the easier it is to skim.
Boss votes last?
Boss votes first.
Ooh, so the boss can skim.
Yeah. Rob means you're trying to take loot directly from another player. The player who's robbed is always the one that has the robber's threat marker in front of them. So there's a way to make threats. So you can like threaten someone during the previous phase when you're actually choosing actions. You can threaten someone and even use them as a bluff to be like, I might try and steal from you this round, or I might just play something completely different. But if you do try and steal, you can only steal from the person that you put the threat marker in front of, and then you take a random card from the victim's stash, not from the distribution that they're about to get.
Cool.
And then guard is used to protect yourself from being robbed. So,
all right, that's pretty basic.
Yeah, so basically it's yes, no, skim, rob, or guard. So there's a good balance of different things. If the vote passes, everyone takes the loot that was assigned to them, puts it in their stash. If there's a tie, then you keep the distribution of the loot, but people have lost faith in the boss, and the boss token passes clockwise. And then you start a new round. If it's no, then the distribution cards are returned to the middle of the table, and the boss token moves clockwise to the first player who voted no.
Ooh.
So if you vote yes and you are the first player clockwise of the boss, you get skipped over. And then you add 2 more cards to the loot pile and redistribute.
Nice.
And then it's pretty much keeps going until you find a card called the Fuzz.
Boom.
And if you pull the Fuzz while you're revealing loot cards to be distributed, the game ends immediately. If someone skims the Fuzz off of the top of the deck, then the game goes to the end of the current round and then ends. But either way, once you get the Fuzz, the game's over. And there's a way to, in the setup of the game, make sure that the Fuzz is like, within the last 15 cards or something like that, right?
Sure.
And then, yeah, there's optional rules for payoffs and bribes, which is cool. But that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Oh, there's also a thing for, there's ultimate rules for putting term limits on a boss so that one person doesn't just dominate the game forever. And if you want to, you can alternate the game length by changing how you place the Fuzz in the deck. But yeah, that's pretty much the game.
These cards are nice.
Yeah. They're not...
the quality is not... Yeah. The imagery is nice.
Yeah, the back almost looks like a linen finish, but it's not quite.
If you look at these cards, it almost looks like... That's why I was...
Like, the backs of the cards are kind of ridged, but it's... I don't think you're going to be able to see that at all. But the backs of the cards are kind of ridged, but it's not like the full crosshatch linen finish.
Look at the front.
And then you're right. Oh, no, it is linen finish. Wow, okay. It's a really subtle linen finish, which is probably a good thing. Okay, yeah. I just couldn't tell at first. Yeah, okay, yeah, so they are linen finish. The artwork is really nice. It pops. I think it fits with that sort of cartoon caper feel really well. the loot,
I mean, I'm gonna play Anna every time.
each denomination of loot is the same, but there are different, or each denomination of loot does not have its own unique image, but there are different images for different types of loot. So there's like paintings, and then there's jewelry, and then there's gems. Different denominations of gems or jewelry or paintings will have the exact same image. Would have been cool if they had like different amounts to indicate higher value, but it is at least cool that there are like different types.
Yeah.
So you get some variety in there.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, I think the cash value is the only thing that matters. There's sculptures as well.
Yeah.
And then, of course, as you've seen, we have all the different characters, which are different cool critters. It's like Zootopia, Goodfellas. I would watch that movie, actually.
Yeah, I would too.
I would watch the hell out of that.
I mean, I feel like this is the type of game where if you're, someone already said it in chat about like pressing your luck, but I do think it's the sort of thing where if you're with a group of people who like aren't fully into social deception, but like kind of like at the outskirts and the borders of that, this seems like a very palatable way to enter. Right? Like there's rules around the deception.
Right.
You can see, hey, like there's probably some method where like if someone just punishes you all game,
right,
like, it's okay.
It's more of a bluffing game than like a true pure social deception, which helps.
Yeah, and it's not even like lying and bluffing, because I think a lot of my friends or problems with social deception games are like, well, I don't like lying. And I don't think I don't think anyone is lying. I think some of these go here and then put.
Yeah, I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah, I don't think it's like any like strict lying by any means. But you can't say, because I think the split is going to be open.
Yeah,
right.
The split is open,
and then the vote is the lying part. But even then, it's not like, hey, Jordan, I'm going to vote. You know, it's that sort of lying. It's not. Two more things.
Oh yeah. It's just lying about that one action you are going to take, but then it gets revealed what you did. So it's like short-term lying.
Yeah.
Bluffing rather than like having to maintain a character or like an alignment or anything like that.
Yeah. But yeah, it looks cool.
I will say that this is one of those games where the lid is kind of suctiony. It's not the easiest to get off. Obviously, if you've had games like this in the past, you know that they tend to get better over time in that sense as you play them more and open them more. But overall, I am actually excited to play this. This looks super cool. I think you said the MSRP was $25. That seems reasonable, given the component quality in particular. It's 4 to 8 players, ages 12 plus, says it plays in 30 minutes. This one comes to us from Arcane Wonders, which is a new publisher for me. I'm not familiar with most of their games. I don't remember. Someone looked this up on Amazon. I don't remember what it was selling for, but I imagine that it probably sells for 20 to 25.
Yeah.
It might be discounted down to like 20, 22 right now. Somewhere, but it seems pretty good.
Having not played the game, I think the one thing I would have probably liked is a 2 or 3 player variant, like a less than 4 player variant. Yeah, 4 to 8 it's a big number.
That's true.
Yeah,
because this I would squarely file this game in my party game section. So this would be the type of game that I would play when I have enough people for stuff like Secret Hitler or Coup or Codenames, the kind of stuff that is behind Sam on our shelves. I think this fits well with that. You wouldn't necessarily do it with your like normal 4-player game night, because then you're probably looking for like more in-depth strategy type stuff 4-player games. But this is good for like, we have a group and people don't need to be paying attention that much, and we can just be chilling and having fun, and it feels like it plays pretty quickly. There's not a lot of there could be some decision paralysis, but there's not like analysis paralysis. It's literally just like trying to predict what people are going to do in that exact situation, right? And then a little bit of decision paralysis around how do I distribute the loot. But mostly, I think it's just a cool social game. Amazon has it for 24 and change. Okay.
That feels about right.
Yeah. All right. What do we got next, Sam?
Koi.
Awesome.
All right.
This looks so pretty.
It's a beautifully thematic light strategy game. MSRP is $39.95. Plays 1 to 4 players. There's a 1-player version.
Ooh.
40 to 60 minutes, so there's definitely a strategic component there. As a koi fish, you spend your days, turns, swimming to and fro by playing a number of movement cards, with the goal of gobbling up as many dragonflies and frogs as you can every day. Each movement card has from 2 to 4 program moves: straight, turn, rotate any direction, leap over a space, with some moves being mandatory when played and others being optional. Okay, this is by Smirk and Laughter Games.
And if that sounds kind of familiar, that is because Smirk and Laughter is an imprint of Smirk and Dagger. It is the same people, but they made Smirk and Laughter specifically for like fun, stab your friends in the back style games, but not. And
Look over there.
Yeah. So these Smirk and Dagger is like more stabby, and I think these are more supposed to be like fun, like casual. They also have like a lot of party games. We have a couple. So the Hex actually is sitting right behind Sam, is one of their games. So yeah. So this is our first game that actually has a true board. Has a bunch of punch outs in the shape of like lily pads and flowers.
Probably a turn marker.
Yeah. I'll give you these to pull out while I'm looking this up. It says, a dragon is born of determination and persistence. So, yes, we are koi fishes swimming to and fro. All right, so you set up the board with the lily pad tokens on different squares depending on the number of players you have. So there's a bunch of different board layouts. If you all watched us play, what was it called? The Gladiator game that we played.
Oh, Carthage.
Carthage. This summer, Carthage also had like a bunch of different board layouts on a hex board. This is kind of like that, except they have specific layouts for the number of players because it kind of plays like Chinese checkers in that you start sort of across from each other in a 2-player game, or in a 3-player game you start like there. In a 4-player game, 2 people start next to each other.
So
is it also 2-sided?
This is the 1 to 2 player side.
Nice. Yeah.
And then this is the, I don't know what. I'm guessing this is the 3 to 4.
Yeah, I would assume.
Yeah. It makes sense.
Yeah. So in a 3 or 4-player game, you start in sort of neighboring positions, but on a much bigger board. So you have rocks and lily pads on the board, and then you place a dragonfly on each lily pad. And then basically each one has their own color set of 2 koi tokens. One used for their score, the other one is used for being on the board. At the beginning of your first turn, you place your koi on your edge, anywhere along your edge that you start with, which does not include the 2 corners, because no one owns those. So in this game, it would be like any of these 3, and then Sam would be over here, any of these 3 or whatever, or these 3 and these 3. Your koi also faces a direction, and that's important because your movement options have to do with what direction your koi is facing at the time. So I assume there's like ways to turn and things like that. Okay, so for the first day, we won't worry about that. On a particular day, you reveal a weather card. So there's some weather cards. And the weather cards have instructions. Do you want to read an example?
Sure. It's windy. Select and flip a wind token. All dragonflies move that number of spaces in that direction. Then move cherry blossoms as well, activating them as they land.
Cool. The second thing we do is spawn dragonflies on all empty lily pads unless the lily pad is adjacent to a frog. So basically, if you've managed to get some dragonflies, you then spawn new ones off of those empty lily pads. Then you deal 3 koi cards to each player, unless the weather card said otherwise, which I assume is what Sam has. So there's a bunch of koi cards, and I assume the koi cards give you like options for what you do on your turn. So then, starting with the first player, each player takes their turn. You can do one of two. You can do 2 actions in any order, any number of times until you choose to stop. First thing is playing a koi card from your hand and resolving it, and the second thing is cycling cards. So you can discard 2 or more cards from your hand to the discard pile, and then draw that many -1 back from the deck. So if I don't like 2 of mine, I can discard them and get 1. And then I can play both of those if I wanted, or something like that. Then once you either run out of cards or decide to stop, you end your turn, and then discard down to 5 cards. Then you check for a flood. If there are no dragonflies left on the board, a flood occurs, and there's something that happens for that. And then the next player does their thing. And then once everyone's taken a turn, the day ends, you total your points and advance it on the score tracker. And this looks like it goes from 1 to 40, if people are wondering what the scale is. And then the first player token goes to the player with the lowest score, interestingly.
Cool.
And then you start a new day until you've gone through 7 days. Now, I do not see a way... Oh, okay. I was not sure how to track how many days you have, but I just realized that in your setup, when you do weather cards, you deal out 6 weather cards, and on the first day, no weather occurs. So when you've used up your 6 weather cards, you've been through 7 days. So I was a little worried that this was one of those games where they like tell you to track the number of turns, and then they don't give you a way to do it that's natural. But this is actually really nice because you don't have to remember to move a token or anything. It's literally, by playing the game, you will eventually run out of the thing that ends the game. All right. So there are 2 types of koi cards. There's movement cards, which have arrows, and then there's natural beauty cards, which are either rocks, frogs, lily pads, or cherry blossoms. I have 2 movement cards and a cherry blossom here on the table. So movement cards allow you to move, and there are a couple things that happen. So there are mandatory moves and optional moves. The black arrows on this card, which is all black, are mandatory moves, which means that my koi, if you want to find a koi for me here, my koi has to move forward 3 times and then rotate to the left. This one has 2 blue arrows, which are optional, and then a black arrow. So I can optionally take those moves and then take the other move. And now you read them from the bottom up, so from where the koi is. So if I was here and I played this card, I would have to move forward 3 times, 1, 2, 3, and then rotate 1 to the left. And I do it from the bottom up. There is a symbol, there is a splash symbol, which allows you to jump over the next hex in front of it. So if I was here, facing this way, and I played this card with 2 optional moves and a splash, I could optionally move 1, and then I would splash over the next one, and then I could optionally move a second time. Or if I use this one that Sam has, and I was here, it's rotate 1 left, so I would rotate 1 left, then move 1 forward, and then splash. So that's how you can like get over rocks and things like that. It's pretty cool. That's pretty much how the movement cards work. 2 koi cannot occupy a single hex. If you move into a hex already occupied by an opponent's koi, they're forced out of the hex. And the player who is moving places the displaced koi into any of the surrounding hexes. Ooh. So and they can face that koi any direction they choose. So you do not move them in the direction you're moving, and you can reorient them.
So it's like ramming.
Yeah, you ram into them, and they can go in whatever. So if you're here and I move into this space, I can put you in any of these 6 spaces and orient you however you want. And if there is another koi there that I move you into, then I can, as the person who moved you, also move the koi that I pushed you into.
Mm-hmm. So
it can cause a chain reaction.
Goofy Funny, I see that you were playing Artifact. What's the worst that could happen? Missing an hour of stream. Yeah. We luckily we have this handy dandy guide here that's been giving us your summary.
Sorry, I want to talk about that comment for a sec though, Goofy Funny. For those of you who don't know, Artifact came out today.
Oh, it did? Okay.
It is the long-awaited Valve Dota card game co-created by the designer of Magic.
Mm-hmm.
The person who wrote the game and all of the characters and wrote all of the dialogue for all of the voice actors for those characters is a personal friend of mine who has been working on this game for like 4 years. And so I'm super
like we're getting some free stuff.
I just want to say, Steve, you are awesome and you killed it, and I'm excited that your game finally launched. You may have seen some of his other work if you've ever played a Saints Row game, because he was the lead writer and creative director for that studio before he went to Valve.
Cool.
So he's a beast, and I'm super excited for Artifact because it sounds awesome, and he's been working on it for a really long time. All right, so the other cards that we had out were those natural beauty cards. They just allow you to place new tokens on the board adjacent to your koi. So if you play a rock card or a lily pad or a frog or whatever, you can place them on the board.
Oh, cool.
And that's why you end up spawning more of the dragonflies, because you can get more lily pads and then stuff like that happens. Frogs eat dragonflies adjacent to them, which sucks for the koi because the koi also want to eat dragonflies.
So it's like a sabotage thing.
Exactly, yes. There's a bunch of rules here that we won't get into, but there's a whole table of things that tell you like what happens when certain token types run into each other. So if you, like, a frog bumps into a rock or a koi or a lily pad, and there's like a chart so you know how to resolve that.
That's nifty. It's always good to have rules that are very specific.
Yes. So it's not like you have to read through a paragraph of things and figure out how it resolves in a chain. The flood basically just removes cherry blossoms and frogs from the board, so it's like a reset, which we talked about earlier can happen. Was that weather card that you revealed randomly earlier the windy card?
Yeah.
So hilariously enough, there's a whole section in here that says most weather cards are self-explanatory, but windy deserves a special mention. So it's kind of funny that that's the one you drew. It's kind of long. So the one thing that I haven't figured out, so I think what happens is you eat koi when you like move on to them or something like that.
Dragonfly.
Yeah, or sorry, you eat dragonflies when you move on to them, basically. Yeah, so when a koi or a frog bumps into a dragonfly, they eat it. If a dragonfly bumps into a frog or a koi, they get eaten. And I think there are rules to move the dragonflies and frogs as well. So that's pretty cool. Then that's pretty much it. The winner is whoever has the most points after the 7th day.
Nice.
There's some variants, and then there's solo play rules as well, which is cool. So, yeah. And then there's like a cool little thing that gives you the round order on the back, so you have a quick reference.
Nice.
So, linen finish cards. These I think are even nicer than the ones in Good Critters. They just, I don't know if you felt that way, Sam, but they just feel like a nicer cardstock to me.
Yeah.
So these are really nice cards. They did a great job with it. once again, really bright colors, really awesome artwork, very self-explanatory. They do use color to indicate optional versus non-optional, but because one of the two colors is black, I think it's still very clear. People aren't likely to have much trouble with that.
Yeah.
There's also like a slight glow around the optional ones versus the black ones, which can help a little bit but if it's like it's a light blue and a black, so hopefully that should stand out pretty well. Everything else has a unique shape.
Yeah, what I really like is, despite like the art being very like water painty and not, not
watercolor.
Watercolor. And not like, nice, like strict defined lines. The actual like arrows and things are really simple. So you still get the flowery, like water painting sort of stuff, but you also, it's also simple to understand.
Yeah. I think watercolor art was a brilliant choice for a like water-based sort of Zen-like game. When I first saw this game, it reminded me of, I forget the name of it, but it was a game I played at PAX Unplugged last year where you have a sort of hex-like board like this, and you have these nice, almost ceramic tokens that have birds on it, and you place the birds on the board as you go, and you're like, and everyone has a place that they start from, and at the end of the game, you like score based on the different rows that start from where you are, making like collections of the birds. This kind of reminded me of that, but the gameplay is obviously like nothing like that. But they are both similar in that they have amazing art and feel very zen, and I love people finding new ways to use this sort of hex pentagram style or hexagram style board. It does sound pretty interesting. We didn't really take out the tokens much, but they're all like really nice wood tokens that have been cut really nicely. There's like dragonflies and different things, and they're not boring, just random wood tokens. They're like nice and colored, and the koi have even been painted with like unique markings on the sides and stuff like that. So all in all, I think this is going to be a really fun game to play. I'm looking forward to it. How many players did we say it was?
1 to 7.
1 to 7 players. This is made by Smirk and Laughter.
Sorry, 1 to 4. 1 to 4. 1 to 4.
1 to 4. 1 to 7 was the last game.
1 to 7 was the last game.
Yeah, okay. 1 to 4 players, which makes more sense because the board only has room for so many people. 1 to 4 players, and somewhere it tells us how many minutes. 40 to 60 minutes. 10 plus. So that all seems pretty good. And I think you said it was $40 MSRP.
Yeah.
I think somebody said it was also $40 on the thing. That seems pretty reasonable, actually.
Yeah, I mean, to me personally, I think it all depends on how well the game plays.
Yeah.
If it plays really well,
and stuff like that.
Yeah, if it plays very well, I think 40 is totally reasonable. If it's just a bunch of people staring at cards, that kind of sucks.
Yeah. Even the box itself has a linen print.
It's cool.
It's very nice. So this is another game. I mean, I want to play all these games because I love playing new games, but I think I am most excited about Koi and Good Critters so far, just from what we've seen.
2 of the 3 games.
No, 4.
All right, fine.
You already forgot about Bloblobber?
It's not a real game.
It's a real game. Sorry, Steve.
Blah, 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 blah,
I'm sorry, Steve. Don't listen to him. We love you. Bloblobber. Blah, 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 blah. The game that was 1 to 7 was Good Critters.
No. Diver City is 1 to 7. Good Critters is 4 to 8.
You're right. Good Critters is 4 to 8. So both of them answer your question, Goofy Funny. Mini Diver City was 1 to 7, and Good Critters, which I can't reach because we pushed it super far from me. Good Critters was 4 to 8.
Yeah. To be fair, the 1 to 7, the 7th player is like the anti-player.
Yeah. So it's a 1 to 6. Yeah, with the 7th player getting a chance to play as the game and be an actual opponent instead of using the game rules. So it's a variant. Good Critters is just literally 4 to 8, and my guess is that Good Critters probably plays best in the 5 to 7 range.
I would imagine, yeah.
I'm sure Board Game Geek probably says something like that. Yeah, it's kind of an Overlord game. But in the normal game with less than 7 players, Goofy Funny, there are rules for how the game plays itself, and then there is a variant in which one player can be the game and take on what the game is doing. They probably have a hand of cards that they choose to play rather than just dealing the top ones off the deck every round. Something like that. All right, what do we have next, Sam?
I want to save this one for last.
Okay.
So even though it's not alphabetical,
That's fine.
because it just looks fun.
Yeah. This one apparently doesn't look fun, so we're gonna start with this one.
Yeah, exactly. It is Untold, the episodic storytelling board game.
Untold Adventures Await.
Oh yeah, Untold Adventures Await, powered by Story Cubes.
Ooh.
Interesting.
Yes, and this one is published by Hub Games.
All right. So, Untold Adventure Await. Oh no, it's just Adventures Await. They don't await.
Adventures Await.
Is a pick. Okay.
Wow.
Is a pick up and play cooperative game where you play the heroes in your own adventure series. Every game of Untold is a complete self-contained episode that usually plays out using 5 randomly chosen scene cards. As the episode unfolds, you'll face surprising plot twists and confront dangerous encounters, all inspired by your choices. Untold is powered by the iconic Rory's Story Cubes, providing inspiration and driving the narrative during your adventure. Grab the game, roll your Story Cubes, and become the heroes that save the day. Rated for 1 to 4 players. It's cooperative, so I'm sure you could team up and play more. And then 60 minutes.
I'm excited for this already simply because
Oh, story dice.
not only does it have story dice, but I love games that are role-playing-esque and storytelling-esque games, which is, those of you who've been around the stream for a while have probably seen us play one or both of Near and Far and Above and Below, which are awesome storytelling games. So this, I can already tell you, I am a huge fan of the component quality.
Okay, hold on. Let me look at this.
What's the MSRP?
So the MSRP is 35.
Holy
it's
crap.
less than Koi. Probably because there's it's cooperative. Maybe there's less replay. I don't know. Whatever. Looks fun, but the component quality is really good for 35.
Yeah, they have double layer chipboard with indents for putting things down.
I'll flip over.
It's double layer chipboard. So
yeah, these are nice.
I'm gonna pull one of these out. So these pieces here are double layer, and these squares are indents where you can put those punch outs that Sam just showed you,
Mm-hmm.
and then these fit in here. So the board itself is double layer with the indent, and then the things you put in the double layer are double layer.
Which is super nice because it's easy to pop out.
Right.
They don't sit in so far that you gotta
Yeah. It allows
pick up the
everything.
board.
It allows everything to be pulled out very nice. These are super thick.
Oh, look. It fits.
Yeah. So you have. I assume that they're hidden at first, and then there's 1.1s, and then there's a stack of 2. 3. and 4. And they have.
Oh, they fit with this. I see.
So and they each have their own theme. So the first stack of 1 dots are called a dangerous dilemma, and then the plot thickens. Then a heroic undertaking, then the truth revealed, and the final showdown. And I think what you do when you're setting up the game is deal 1 of each, and that's how you play out the story.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about what we got in the way of components here.
All right. So it looks like
I'm especially interested in that dice.
Okay, so it looks like we've got player boards that talk about what the scenes do. Look at this location, these threats, scene terms. The dice are just super cool. I think we need to read and figure out what the dice really do.
We also have notepads that allow you to write down what your story's about, so you can track it each time you play.
That's cool.
So first of all, the game does not tell you what your story has to be about. You decide at the beginning of the game what your story is about. You pick a general idea of a setting for the story. So you write down when does it take place, past, present, future, or non-time. Choose a certain era or century or a time and date, or a significant event. Then where does this episode take place, which is the overall backdrop for it. And then you want to pick a location that's broad enough to allow the creation of multiple locations within it. So you might pick like New York City, because you can have like a dark alley
character
station or
profile.
whatever.
Sure. Okay, cool.
What do we know about this setting? So like, do superpowers exist? Is magic possible? What kind of technology, right? Like, is it a steampunk setting?
Yes to all of those.
Right. What is the tone of this episode? So is it like a dark and gritty story? Is it a light and fun story? Are you playing for laughs or thrills, right? And then you have a setting synopsis where you summarize everything you came up with in 1 or 2 sentences as if you were describing it to someone who was watching the show. I already want to turn this into like a stream series.
Yeah,
where we just play this a bunch.
When I said this was boring, I didn't.
Yeah.
Think about
So we're gonna go back and do truck off first, so we can save the best. For last.
So what it sounds like to me,
on sale for $29 on Amazon. Buy it now. We haven't even told you how to play. Go buy it now.
Go buy it now. Let me just say this: in criticism, the cover art for the board is not that cool compared to looking at all this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's thematic with the game, but that's why I was just like, hey.
So, okay. So, first of all, the world faces a perilous situation. So you flip over one of these cards, and then you. Oh, interesting. They're all the same. That's curious.
Well, no, hold on.
No, I meant all of this stack is the same. I think all of your stack might be the same too.
Okay. No. You see different icons.
Oh, mine. Oh yeah, mine do have different icons. Okay, cool. So it's just like the first 3 that I looked at looked the same.
Yeah.
Okay, so you actually roll all 9 cubes when you reveal the first scene.
What?
And then you allocate story cubes to the recessed space on the scene card. So you pick like this one and this one, right? And then you complete the following sentence. The episode begins at this location where this threat is doing this to something or someone. So this tells you what the action is.
Wait. Scene terms. Boom.
Yeah.
Is pursuing. So we might, and then the story cubes, I'm not sure. I think you just use the symbol as inspiration, but so this happens at an old folks' home where rainbows are pursuing people.
Yes, exactly. I think that's exactly what you do. Yeah, so the face-up icons on the story cubes can represent any number of locations, people, or things. They'll also be influenced, so like by the setting and tone. So a fire could represent a hot desert, or it could represent safety in winter, or it could represent an angry enemy with a fiery temper. You're just supposed to use the symbol as inspiration for the thing you come up with, right?
Cool.
And so you go through that, and then you basically deal. Once you've done the first scene, then after you've established your character, you decide what role you're playing. So you complete your own character profile. You give yourself a name, or you do everything else first, then do a name that fits. You pick a job or role that says just like what does your character do in the series, what compels them to go on adventures, and then you can give your characters two things You can give them an ability or power. You can give them a helpful item or companion, and you can give them an area of expertise or knowledge. And so you give them 2 of those things. And they have to be different types. So you can't have like 2 special powers or 2 companions or whatever. And then you basically, everyone establishes their characters all at once they have the setting. All right. Then, with the first scene up, you start asking questions and taking actions. So by asking questions, you gather information and add detail to the scene. You may ask a number of questions up to the maximum amount of question tokens on that scene. So,
What are questions?
questions tokens are a symbol. So this scene has no questions. Some of these other ones may have question tokens. Right? So
Is that a question? No, that's accusing.
it'll have a question mark. We may not have gotten any.
Oh, you know what? They could be these. They could be in one of these.
Oh yeah, that could be. I'm not sure. Anyways, oops.
One of them.
When you encounter a question mark symbol, then you take a question token from below the current scene. Oh, here we go. It's on the board.
You put tokens.
So you get 4 questions, then 3, then 2, then 1. So you basically stack those question tokens on these so you can use them. So as a group, you get to ask 4 questions. Your questions must begin with what, where, when, why, who, or how. And then after you ask a question, you roll any of the story cubes that have not been placed yet. And then, like, including multiple, however many have been placed. And then based on what you roll, you can use 1, 2, or 3 of the story cubes to inspire an answer. So I might say, how did the rainbows get inside the old folks' home, right? And then, I might say something like, I don't even know. This is it. So they came out of Jumanji, which was brought there. So they spoke the magic word that opened Jumanji, which was brought there by the evil corporate overlord who owns the old folks' home. Something like that.
That's funny because like I read this of like, oh, this is something of like there were someone has told the story of a building so tall that it reached the sky into the rainbows, and on one day it like luckily hit something.
Right.
It's cool.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give you guys a close up of this so you can kind of see what we were looking at. So that's what we came up with. So I was like, the dice is like a board game. And then I was like, oh, what board game has weather and could fit this story? Jumanji. And then like they said a magic word that triggered it, and there was like an office building. So I was like, corporate overlord.
Does sound like
yes, it is definitely an imagination game. So then you also can use actions to resolve the conflict in the current scene. You get a number of actions, again, equal to what hat is for that scene. So you get 4 actions in the first scene, none in the second scene, 4 in the third scene, and 6 in the last scene, and none in the fourth scene. So you can either, I try to blank by blank, or I want to blank by blank. And then you describe what you're trying to do. You cannot take an action that affects another player without their permission. And then after you declare an action, you flip the top card of the outcome deck to determine the level of your success, which goes from incredibly successful to disastrously unsuccessful. So you might say something like, I want to diffuse the argument between Kachuk and the Academy's High Council by pointing out Kachuk's positive contributions to the Academy, and you might flip disastrously unsuccessful, and then you have to describe the outcome of what happened when you try to do that. So you're like, I offer the High Council numerous examples of how kind and generous Kachuk is as the principal of the Academy. but the High Council turn directly to face her. They do not look happy at all about being interrupted, or something like that.
All right, I give up on opening this.
That's fine. I think they literally just have text on them that tells you what happened. And then people can, of course, react to the outcomes. So the outcomes are incredibly successful, but at a price, disastrously unsuccessful, and unsuccessful with an upside. And in the incredibly in the extremes or in the middle ground where there's like a bad thing that happens to a good or vice versa, you flip a reaction card. And the reaction card depicts how a character or someone else in the scene responds. So you basically take a reaction card and you describe how a character that you choose in the scene reacts to the result of that action, right? So in this case, you might flip an angry expression. So all the reaction cards are like facial expressions. So the example they give is, and the High Council are so enraged by my intrusion that they immediately suspend me from the academy, right? So it was disastrously unsuccessful. You do not need to use all of the action, but you may. Same with the questions. Okay. So, scene 2 is the plot thickens, which gives you either an evil ally, a terrible secret, a dark agenda, or an evil master. And that connects to the source of the twist. So in this case, it connects to the people. The twist did not come from the rainbows. It actually came from the thing. And then you basically, it helps you identify what you are facing. What is like the twist to the story that develops it further.
And their evil ally, fire.
So, like, yeah, or you could be like, and the people all are, I don't know, are like fire people or something like that. So it's some
everything was fine until the fire nation attacked.
In this case, the line indicates that the twist is coming from the people that are being targeted, the old people, right? And so you come up with something that targets them. Maybe the twist is that the old people being chased aren't actually being chased, and they're actually releasing the rainbows into the world, or something like that.
Oh, plot twist.
Right? Through trial by fire or something. I don't know. Scene 3 is a heroic undertaking. You travel to a new location to deal with the plot twist. And then you're either confronted by a new enemy, challenged by a character, group, or thing from the first scene, or the newly discovered plot twist becomes a direct threat. And so you will roll more story cubes again, continuing to develop the story. And at this point, you can do more questions and things. And then scene 4 is the truth revealed. You've discovered the shocking truth behind the motives of the threat. And this raises the stakes because you discover an even greater challenge. You figure out their hidden agenda. And then then there's the final showdown. So in this scene, you travel together one last time to put an end to the sinister schemes. At the climax, you face danger on 2 fronts. They encourage you to involve a previous threat for a truly grand finale. And then you have 2 separate threats that you have to confront. And you have 2 options to determine the nature of the threats. And there's a bunch of stuff that goes into how that happens. And then once you finish the final showdown, you fill out the sections of the episode guide marked after episode. And you write down significant people, places, and things you encountered. And then So you can actually basically play this out as an episode in your story, right? So you could the first time you play this, you might start the story, and then the second time you play, you might continue where you left off with the same characters if you choose to do so.
Nice.
So it'd be like a campaign, right? You can basically reuse the setting, and each episode becomes part of a series. And so the end of a game has a to be continued.
Previously on Tilt the Table.
Exactly. And that's pretty much it. I am super freaking excited for this.
This is cool.
So Goofy Funny, I know you asked this for a bit ago. What if we're not creative? Honestly, I think in a group, you just kind of get comfortable with the level of creativity that you as a group has over time.
Mm-hmm.
Part of the reason why the story cubes that we have are so important and cool is that it helps you feel creative. People who are role players, people who do role play a lot, don't need the story cubes. They just come up with their own stories. They come up with their own plots, and they develop them on the fly without needing inspiration. This game is developed it is developed for people who love role play anyways, but I think it is also, games like this exist for people who don't feel like they have creativity but want to go through that experience.
Yeah, I would say this. I think we all, as people who play board games, right? I think we all have friends who are like, we really want you to play with us, but they're just like, oh, I don't know, and I'm this and I'm that. Like, I think this is the type of game that helps break down some of those barriers because it's just approachable,
Yep.
So that I think is super cool.
I mean, I really enjoyed. I think that's for the tokens once we punch them out. I really enjoyed playing Near and Far and Above and Below for similar reasons. In that one of the things that happens in this game is there are things that trigger you to roll a die for a card, and based on the die you rolled and the card you drew, you get a number, and you look up in a book a scenario corresponding to that number, right? And then you basically, right there. You basically go through, and someone other than the player whose turn it is reads the scenario and presents them the options, and then you choose how to respond to it. So these are also storytelling games, but these have more mechanics associated with them. This one is very much like there's an extra die.
That really annoys me.
I wonder if there's like a promo die or something like that came out.
It said 9, didn't it? Oh, in the rules?
Contents. How many story cubes are there? It just says a set.
I
don't know.
I mean, that picture.
Oh, yeah, it is 9.
Yeah.
That is weird. Maybe that's not where they're supposed to go. Maybe they're probably supposed to go down here in the grid that looks like it fits 9 dice.
Hey!
And that's probably for tokens. Oh, God, I can't get them out. But anyways, yeah, so to answer your question then, Goofy Funny, I think it is just... This is all about building a game that provides inspiration for people to tell a story together, collaboratively. And that is what makes it fun, I think.
Yeah. This seems super exciting to me.
I'm super stoked. I think we are definitely going to work to find a time to bring this onto the stream because I think it would be awesome. It is 1 to 4 players. It looks like, though, I mean, technically, it seems like you could play with more.
Maybe just sit that down.
Oh, God. There's a system for putting these back.
We have not discovered the system. Oh, God.
Oh, yeah. This was supposed to be here to protect that. We're definitely going to play this. This seems super fun, super awesome. And all of the component quality was amazing. Obviously, because it is the game mechanically is mostly about what you make up and what the story cubes give you. but then you have the scenarios that change each time because they're randomized. There's a ton of replayability here.
Yeah, I mean, this is like I feel like this is role playing for those who don't like role playing, improv for those who don't like improv, or like who are afraid.
Yeah, it's role playing and improv for people who are not experienced or confident in it necessarily, because the people who are experienced or confident will also really enjoy this, but they don't necessarily need it.
Yeah. And I feel like this is, so it's rated at age 10 and above. Maybe you could go a little younger. What I really like about this seems like the kind of game that could be a family game. It could legitimately be a family game, or one you play with friends. And then the story cubes are cool. I could see using story cubes for other things.
Right, which is why they're like a thing separate from the game.
Yeah.
So, you pretty much nailed it, Dark Citadel. The box does not reveal the awesomeness that is inside. Though the name, I don't know. The name describes it very well. I don't know. I don't know if I would want the name of the game to be Untold Adventures Await, or if I want that whole thing to be the subtitle underneath another name.
Yes, I like that. Untold Adventures Await is kind of weird.
Right.
Something Untold Adventures Await, actually makes sense to me.
But at the same time, I also understand that the actual name of the game that they're going for is just Untold, because it is literally a game about making up a story that hasn't been told yet.
I think this is the sort of thing where, like, you see this on the shelf, and you're probably like, and then, like, that person at the game store is like, oh, this is really cool, like, this is how you play it, and then you're like, oh, okay.
There's a thing on the back of the box that I would love to have been on the front of the box, if you want to give them the overhead view real quick.
Boom.
So this thing really grabs your attention, and it basically says, in this week's episode, will the intrepid Starship crew members confront an alien invasion that threatens the entire galaxy, or will a party of young adventurers embark upon a magical quest for a missing unicorn? Can a pair of mismatched investigators uncover the truth behind an impossible conspiracy? Adventures await!
I mean, even for us with, like, stream, I could see this being the sort of thing where we roll the dice, and chat's like, all right, I want you to put that dice in the spot.
Yeah.
And then we've got to come up with a story for it, Like,
I would love to do that. I would love to let you all challenge us by choosing the dice that we roll, and then we have to come up with the thing.
Yeah. That looks a lot.
And we could even maybe find ways to integrate the bot in such a way that you could, like, spend tilts to choose the dice and stuff like that.
Like re-rolls and stuff like that.
Yeah, re-rolls or we're gonna find cool things to do with this. I'm very this is now the number one game I'm most excited about of what we looked at tonight. Just because I've personally been super into role playing lately on my personal stream, and I've been doing it like constantly for the last 2 weeks, and I'm like super jazzed.
Honestly, like with I would probably email them and be like, can you give us digital assets? Because then we could say, all right, phase one, we could put up the board on stream. Yeah. We have it in front of us, but you can still keep track of what's going on, stuff like that.
We'll talk about that in a second.
Oh.
I mean, we'll talk about it.
All right. Okay. And by the way, for $35, I think it's a steal.
Oh yeah.
It's it's kind of like, in my mind, Concept is the sort of game where it's kind of expensive. It's in the 35 to 40 range, but it has a ton of replayability. Yeah. This is like the same thing.
I'm not saying this to bash it in any way, but I now understand why it's $5 cheaper than Koi. Because this game does not have to worry about balance that much.
$28.99
on Amazon. But does that make sense, right? Like, it is not a mechanics heavy game. So what they did is they figured out a way to package something that gives you just the right amount of elements to prompt the story along, and that's really well done, and you get all these really nice components, and it's totally worth the price. But the difference between this and this being $5 more, or in this case like $7 or $8, is that this probably had to go through way more playtesting in terms of like balance and things like that.
Yeah.
The design process is very different.
Yeah.
But yeah, I honestly, if you like role playing at all, or think you have friends who would be into it, or whatever, like I would pick up this game, especially for under $30.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
I see so much potential with this thing. So
All right, Sam's last but not least game.
All right, I like food. I like cooking.
You like
this game
food
is called
trucks.
Truck Off. Let's look at that.
You basically want it to be overcooked the board game.
Overcooked the board game. I would play the heck out of that. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Okay.
There's so many punch outs.
So it is a zesty 2 to 6 player food truck board game with plenty of bite. MSRP $25, 30 minutes, 2 to 6 players. Truck Off is played over 5 rounds, where the winner is the player with the most money earned. Each round, players simultaneously select and reveal which venue they will park at. A die is then rolled at each venue to determine how many people actually showed up, and the profits are split between each truck at the venue. Players then select which special actions they choose to execute this round. Starting with the first player token, players play and execute one action in a clockwise manner. And they spelled manner wrong.
Well, yeah, you pretty much just explained everything I was going to say.
Yeah, okay.
I think, yeah, so you select your trucks, you put them at you secretly select 2 food trucks to designate the venue that you're going to sell your food at. You roll the venue die to represent the total payout, so you're like, you don't know how much each venue is going to be worth or where the other trucks are going to go. So you're going to like try and go to venues that have more money and less other trucks to compete with. You select your action cards to affect what happens once things get, and then you reveal your actions and execute them. And then you resolve payouts. So once each player's done an active, then you get each active truck at a venue earns an even payout equal to the total number of venue payout, or equal to the total venue payout divided by the number of trucks. So a venue that has 2 trucks and a total payout of 5, each truck gets 2, and the 1 extra is discarded. If you have 7 at a venue, then and there's only 1 truck, they get all of it. And then because you can play cards that affect things, there may be a way that like 1 food truck gets a double payout. So you might have, in this case, there's a example of a venue that has 7 and 3 trucks. So they would each normally get 2, but one of the trucks played an action that doubles their payout. So they actually get 4, which makes the total payout at that venue 8, even though the venue only started with 7.
Cool. By the way, I know we played that game I can't remember which game it was. The one where we had to roll a d4 and a d6 or whatever.
Oh, Shadowhunters.
This is the version of the dice that I like.
Oh, you're having trouble reading the other one?
Well, because you have to like look in the middle and you gotta figure like this one, the one that like pops up at the top.
Yeah, I feel you.
Okay. All right.
There's good D4 design and there's bad D4 design. That's trying to figure out really quick how the game ends. Just five rounds.
5 rounds. Yeah.
Yep. And then whoever has the most money wins. And if you have action cards you didn't use, you also get money for those. Because I think the action cards maybe cost something or have a value. But yeah, let's check out some of these components. So this is like
that's probably
the first player token.
First player token?
Yeah. Do you want to do the overhead?
Yeah.
So you got this cool little food truck shaped thing.
They're all the same.
Okay. So you have all these cute little food trucks that you get from here. I'll look at it here. From left to right, moving down, we have BBQ, Fig Town, The Great Frijoles,
Fry Hard,
Sashimi Rollin', Fry Hard, and Game Jammin'. Yeah, so there's I'll give you a couple more up closes here of these. They're really cute. Some of them are upside down on the punch boards, but
These are actually funny. So I'm going to read some of the daily specials and what they do. Got Block Party during payouts, add $5 to the die roll. Occupy Eat Street during payouts, double your trucks. Word of Mouth during payouts, add all the remainders to the die in this venue. Liquidation sale. Flash Mob, Celebrity. So this is kind of cool.
Yeah, that is really cool. And then you have different venues.
Oh, here's the round tracker.
I don't know what the number at the venues mean. Oh, it's what die you roll.
It's what die, yeah.
Got it. So some venues are naturally more value because they have a much higher chance of being worth something. And of course, the most valuable venue is a gaming convention.
Yeah.
Sadly, the Food Truck Expo is not as good as the gaming convention, the sporting event, or the concert, which is probably about right, actually.
Okay, so I'm not sure like how like we should probably read it, but this is kind of cool. So like game jamming, all the cards here are themed. Reroll Buffalo X-wing, macaroni and parcheesi, 7 wontons. So they're all like
They're
you
all
probably
dishes.
have a bunch of they're dishes, but they're also like because it's
Seven
a game.
Wonders.
Yeah, 7 wonders, brisket to ride, Munchie Koro, Dominion Rings, Seedlers of Catan, Go Fish and Chips, Forbidden Desert, King Crab of Tokyo.
Sorry, Forbidden Dessert.
Dessert. not the actual thing. Donkey Kong Pao and Apples to Apples Pie.
I like Donkey Kong Pao. Okay, that's pretty cute that the Game Jammin' Truck has board game based food. Narcoleptic Penguin, hello!
Hi. Oh wait. Hi.
Goofy Funny, to answer your question, it's kind of a secret Hitler mechanic. Yeah. We're not in Philly. I'm actually flying tomorrow, Narco. We are, I don't know why I called you Narco. My brain.
Narc.
Yeah, we're flying out tomorrow morning. We're going to get in at like 7.
Okay, I got
Very soon.
All right, so these are the sashimi rolling. I'm going to read more.
Okay.
The Notorious BLT, to Shrimp a Butter Fry, Black and Yellow Chicken and Rice,
Black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow.
Stuck in the Middle au jus, Ain't No Lie, It's the Best Pad Thai, the Thunder Egg Rolls, Live and Let Fry, Friends in Low Main Places, Flavored Ice Ice Baby, Hakuna Frittata, Mackerel More, and Tupacos.
Okay, I want to go back because there's one that I think is just so much better than all of the rest, and I want to say it a couple times. Stuck in the Middle au jus. Stuck in the Middle au jus. That one's just so freaking good.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Okay. How does this game actually play?
So you literally have
So do you... Okay, hold on. Let's count.
these are your action cards for your truck.
Okay.
And you play them on your turn after you've placed your trucks.
Got it.
Right? So you have the venues out, and then you secretly choose where you're placing the trucks, because I think somewhere there might be you have cards that have the locations on them, maybe?
No. I think you place them you place your truck token by the venue.
Oh, but it says
they're 6.
secretly.
Uh,
Each player secretly selects 2 trucks designating the venue and then reveals them. Oh, no, I got it, Sam.
okay.
The reason there are so many trucks is the back of them have numbers on them that designate the venue. And so you keep them face up, and then you pick 2, and then you reveal what number they are, and that's the venue they go to.
And you get a deck for your truck.
Yes.
Because there's 6 of them in here.
Yes.
So
You're going to choose 2 of these 6 that match your truck, put them at the venue, and then we're going to roll the dice for each venue to figure out what the value is, and then you are going to play an action card, and you can play as many action cards as you want that round. But I think once you've played them, you don't get them back, basically. Yeah. So you start with all of them. You choose how many you're going to play that round, and then you play them one at a time until you've played them all or discarded them, right?
Okay. And more cards. Princess Mononoke, the brave little toaster strudel, the Empire Stakes Back, Lord of the Fries, Forest Gumbo, A Clockwork Orange Chicken, The Princess Bride, Bill and Ted's Bogus Jerky, The Breakfast Club Sandwich, Lord of the Onion Rings, The Hills Have Fries, and Reservoir Hot Dogs.
So, Goofy Funny, each of these theme decks are decks for each truck. So the board game theme ones are for the truck named Game Jammin'. The hip hop and music based one, not all hip hop, but the music based ones were for the truck Sashimi Rollin', which I think is also a great pun. Sashimi Rollin', they hate it.
Oh, I get it. I get it.
And then the ones that Sam just did, which were movie based, were Fry Hard, like Die Hard.
The truck names are puns, and the other
Except for Game Jammin'. That's not a pun on a board game.
That's true.
But that's just a good name for, it's like a game jam, right?
Oh,
What do you got next? Is this
Fig Town?
Fig Town? All right, what's Fig Town?
Shot through the tart with creme brulee, you give love a flambe.
Wow! All right, I love this game because it makes puns.
Kombucha lips on this. Sauerkraut and Brussels sprout trout. Hot cross man buns. Kale with kindness. Let him live acai. Peachy quinoa. Faux grass foie gras. For whom the pork belly tolls. Wheatgrass is always greener. PBR&J. And piled high polenta.
Interesting. I'm not sure what the theme for that one
I
is.
think these are all phrases, right?
Yeah, it's just phrases. Because that one was a lyric, right?
That's a lyric.
Shot through the heart with creme brulee, you give love a flambe. But some of these are just phrases.
Like kill him with kindness.
Live and let acai.
Yeah.
Kombucha lips on this.
All right.
Okay, so that was Fig Town. What do we got next? BBQ?
BBQ. Sarsaparilla Warfare.
Oh, it's all Southern, I bet.
Shooting from the chips and salsa.
Like Western?
Yeah. Deep in the heart of Texas toast.
Yes!
Laying down the slaw. Sweet TNT. Sriracha flamin' pulled pork. Sriracha's flamin' pulled pork. Rib member the Alamo. True grits. Wild Wild Worst. Home on the free range chicken. Shotgun wedding soup. And 6-piece jalapeno shooters.
Oh my god, that's amazing. Okay, I love that there's a Western theme. And for those of you who weren't sure before, like, the top of the BBQ food truck is a giant 10-gallon hat. So it's, like, very thematically appropriate. All right, and our last one, the Great Frijolio.
Okay. How I Met Your Smothered Pork Chops. The Walking Bread.
Oh my god, yes.
Sesame Chicken Street. Hogan's Euros. Stranger Wings. Sailor Moon Pies. Sabrina the Filleted Fish. The Adventures of Winnie the Poutine. The Rice is Right. Mashed potatoes. Fresh mints of bell pepper. And Let Us Make a Deal wrap.
That's amazing, and that's also how you know this was a recently designed game, because it actually references modern shows in there.
That's
Okay,
cool.
I'm also excited about this game. I love puns.
Yes.
I love puns to a dangerously toxic degree, and I love that they made an entire game of puns. And the game itself seems super fun. You have sort of a I'm blanking on what the name of the mechanic is, but basically you have this mechanic where you're trying to sort of outsmart the other players, and you're predicting what they're trying to do so you can do the other thing and take advantage of that, right? In placing the food trucks.
And there's still randomness with the die roll.
Yep.
So yes, you could get 20 at the gaming count, but you also roll a 5.
Or a 1.
Or a 1.
Yeah. And then you, of course, have the actions where you can affect the outcome even further. So I think there's a lot of good. It seems like there's a good balance between strategy and randomness, because the only randomness is the die roll. Everything else is strategy, and you get to react after the randomness by playing cards. So after you've seen how good or bad the die roll is,
do you draw a hand, or can you just sort of?
I think you start with all of them. I'll double check.
Oh, and the menu tiles change based on the number of players.
Oh,
that's
so everyone, all of these are the exact same actions. They just have different themes. So everyone has the same set of 12 actions, and at the beginning of the game, you collectively pick 2 actions to not play with that game, and there's a suggested set to start based on whether you want a low amount of take that or a high amount of take that. And so everyone removes the same 2 cards from their starting deck, and then you play with 10, and you have 10 for the game. And you can play as many as you want in a round, but you spread them over 5 rounds however you want, because you don't get them back. That's cool. I could totally see myself playing this enough that I made everyone randomly remove 2, so that you didn't know what actions other people had available, which could be fun. That'd be the ultimate take that. But there is that added element of those games where it's like, everyone has the same set of cards and you know what they've already played, so you know what their choices are. So that kind of helps you try and figure out what they might do, right? So you get that mechanic plus the trying to outwit people in terms of placing the trucks, and then you have the randomness element so that even if you outsmart someone, you might get a bad roll, and then you have to react to that with action cards. So I'm excited about this game. That seems really cool.
Okay, so the daily special variant. After playing the base game a few times, add in the daily special variant for some additional depth. Create a deck of daily special cards. Remove any daily special cards corresponding to the venues not being used in actions. At the beginning of each round, draw 2 daily specials from the special deck. Place them in the corresponding venue tile. If there's already a daily special card above the corresponding venue tile, the card replaces the existing one. When the venue is shut down, its daily special is not active. Okay. Okay, that's cool. So it just seems like an additional layer of RNG once the game is a little bit more like known entities.
Right. That's cool. So there you have it, folks. Truck off the food truck frenzy.
Oh, okay. The 2-player variant, you basically play with a third player that's like generated.
Got it. Awesome. All right. So how much was this one worth?
Worth.
How much is it priced at?
MSRP for this game is $25.
I could see it. I think 25 is not bad, but I think 22 is probably where I would want it.
Yeah, I agree.
But it's only 30 minutes, so it's quick to play. It's 2 to 6 players, which is a really nice range. The art was awesome. The component quality is really nice. The puns just are amazing. Also, I noticed that this was designed by Ryan Lambert, who I believe is the same person who designed this, unless they just have very similar names. Oh, no, it's Ryan Lockett. Okay, not the same.
Similar.
Very similar names. Okay, so I know we haven't played most of these, but I want to rank them by how excited we are about them. I think I actually want to play all of them, depending on the situation, including Blob Blobber, again, situationally. But I think we should rank them by
All right.
you know, kind of give our recommendations.
I'm not sure if there's an easy way for us to do this with the stuff here. I think we should figure out a way for you and I both to rank them separately, and then reveal where we rank them.
Okay.
Like it might just be a piece of paper.
Grab Hanabi.
Oh, okay. Cool.
It's right in front of you at about eye level, slightly higher. And grab a stack of 1 through 5 in a color, and then an extra one that is in a different color that will be the better. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
Right, because we have 6. Yeah, so just keep. All right, we have 1 through 5 in this one. So just find a yellow 5, and then I'll take this red 5 as my super high one, and then you take a blue 5 or a white 5. Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
There. Okay. Just know which of.
Just know your colors.
I was just saying, know which of these is higher, blue or white, for yourself,
Oh, here, hold on.
or just find the yellow. All right, so we're gonna lay these out. Yes, Lord of the Fries, I'm pretty sure was in there.
Lord of the
Or maybe it wasn't.
No.
No, they had Lord of the Onion Rings. I don't know if they did Lord of the Fries.
No, okay. It wasn't. Okay, whatever. The movie was definitely referenced, or the story book.
Yeah, I just don't remember what the exact pun was. All right.
All right.
So we'll just put we'll put our choices on top of the boxes.
Okay, we're 5 is high.
6 is high.
Okay.
The off color 5 is the highest.
Okay. What? Boom.
Okay.
Done.
All right. 2. All right. So here we go.
All right. Chat. If you're here, pick which one you want us to reveal first.
Yes. So
Actually, you know what? Pick which one you would rate 1, and then we'll reveal that one first.
Yes. And do you still have the pamphlet? Is it underneath?
I do.
Okay.
I have the pamphlet. All right, cool.
So while you are thinking, 1 is lowest, 6 is highest. So pick which one you want to start with. While you're thinking about that, we're gonna do like a quick overview of all the games again, so you know what we have. So we have Blob Lobber, which is a fast-paced and silly dexterity game where you're basically flipping discs to capture them. It's the only dexterity game we have here in the group. Then we have Good Critters up here, which is a game of bribing to get loot, and there's a distribution of loot factor and then a vote of confidence type thing. It's kind of like a Secret Hitler distribute the loot game. Then there's Koi, which is a very like beautiful and zen game where you are koi fish moving throughout a pond trying to eat dragonflies, and there's like rocks and frogs and different things, and like action cards that you don't quite program them, but there's like a series of movement things. Then there's Untold Adventures Await, which is a very open-ended storytelling game where the mechanics of the game serve as inspiration for the players to build their own story. Co-op. And then there's Mini Diver City, which is a environmentalist-themed Hanabi-esque game where you're trying to save underwater or ocean species from going extinct, and you're playing cooperatively against the game while the game tries to kill off this species, and there's a variant where one of the players can actually become the game themselves. And then finally there's Truck Off, which is a very punny game where you are trying to visit different venues and outwit your opponents on their choices in order to try and get the most money from each of the venues. All right, so Dark Citadel and Goofy Funny have voted Blah Blobber as the one, and they would be correct. Only because I think that Blah Blobber is absolutely not we are not the target market for that game. And we had some concerns about the component quality for what we as adults would use it for, which would be as a bar game.
Yep.
For kids, I think it is probably fine, and I think my nephews would actually really enjoy it.
Yeah.
But I think it is it's rated as a 6 and up game, but I think it's like, unless you're doing it while drinking and you want something really light, I think it is more of a kid's game than an adult game, rather than a game that spans both very easily.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, you guys picked correct. We picked correct. What is number 2?
What do you think is number 2, Goofy Funny? I think we agree on this one, but I think after that it's going to get really tough.
Yeah.
We might agree on 6, maybe, but I think the middle is going to be really tough. All right, so Dark Citadel says Blah Blobber, Mini Diver City, Truck Off, Koi, Good Critter, Untold. Goofy Funny, do you want to weigh in on that? Right now, Dark Citadel is saying we should reveal Mini Diver City next.
So we can put it in order.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
we'll put them in order, and if there's differences, we'll average it out to make an actual order.
Diver City, I agree. So we can flip that while you decide the other ones. Yeah, we both also had it at 2. For what it's worth, like, maybe if we had actually played the game, we'd think a little bit differently. I think the mechanics seem pretty basic. Maybe there's more to it. Yeah. I don't think I really understood the island thing that much, so I don't know.
Yeah, I also think that I gave it a 2, not because I think it's a game I don't want to play, but because I'm just that much more excited about the other 4 games. The other 4 games, just in reading them and looking at how cool the components are and all that, just made me be like, yes! Mini Diver City, I don't think Mini Diver City is any worse of a game than Hanabi, but this is where I would rank Hanabi against these other 4 games.
Sure.
So that's what my thought was.
I agree with that.
All right, chat. What should we reveal as number 3? Dark Citadel says Truck Off. Do you agree with that, Goofy Funny, or is there a different one that you would put next? We have Truck Off, Good Critters, Koi, and Untold Adventures. And yes, these next 4 are going to be really tough.
All right.
Goofy Funny says Koi as 3 and Truck Off as 4. So here's what we're going to do. Just pick one and put it on each of these, and whichever one is the lower number, that's the one we do next. All right, Koi is revealed next.
Ooh.
All right, so Sam gave it a 3.
Jordan gave it a 4.
I gave it a 4. So that's going to be interesting.
I think a lot of this, and it's no like offense to anyone, is just maybe Jordan and I's preference in games.
Totally.
For me, it's like, while this to me is a little bit more strategy than I want to think about, because it's planning turns in ahead. It is also heavily reliant on RNG. It seems good, but I could see getting tired of this real quickly.
Yeah. And
also like tiring my friends out. That's why I had it at 3 and not higher.
Yeah, and for me, I think the strategy level of this game really calls to me, and I like having strategy games that look and feel light. I don't think it's going to. My impression from not having played it is that it's not going to be a super heavy game, but that it will have enough level of strategy to interest me, which is something that I look for because I hate having to play as a heavy strategy hardcore board gamer. I hate having to play games that are so light that I don't feel like there's any strategy in what I'm doing when it is a competitive game.
So here's my question. Is this lighter or heavier than Splendor?
That's a good question.
Probably need to play it first.
Yes.
But your instinct.
My instinct is that Splendor is heavier until you've played it 100 times. In that Splendor is a very tight game, if that makes sense. It has very tight mechanics. There's very few things that you do, but it can get very complex in the strategy and figuring out what people are going to do and planning ahead many, many turns without knowing what's going to come up. But then once you've played it like 100 times, it becomes second nature because there are so few choices. You can just kind of look at things and instinctually know how you want to play it. And I think that over time, Splendor will plateau, whereas maybe this game doesn't. Okay. All right. So what should we reveal next?
Well, it seems like Truck Off.
Pick them both up and weigh them. Wow.
Wow. Okay.
All right. Truck Off is next. We both gave it a 5.
Whoa!
Nailed it!
You guys gave it a 4.
Well, then in that case, I think I know what all the other numbers are. At least I hope.
Okay, yeah.
I think I would have more consistent fun with Good Critters as Untold would be too game group specific for me. Yeah, totally. So you both put Good Critters as your possible 6. So that means that sounds like we should then reveal Untold next.
Yeah,
we both
reveal it as our 6.
Yeah, we both revealed it as our 6 because it is the off-color 5s. So we didn't really talk about our choices here, but I think from our reactions, you could probably tell. For me, just the wondrous possibilities of this as a storytelling game really just seems cool, and the component quality. And Truck Off just seems light and fun and like a more complex version of this series right behind Sam, which is Get Bit, Walk the Plank, and Hold Your Breath, which are like fun, light party games that are a little bit more fun for kids than for adults, but they're good for just like sitting down and playing a quick game, especially when you're drinking. This one has some similar mechanics, but seems more complex and more interesting. Mm-hmm. And it has all the amazing puns and amazing art.
I'm trying to think if there's something else, like, I think I could make the off case that maybe there is some very simple worker placement game that this could be similar to.
Yeah.
Like, this seems like maybe like a simpler version of Tiny Epic Western almost.
Yeah.
I
see that.
By a good amount simpler, but it feels a little bit closer to like worker placement.
It's also kind of like, well, it's actually really like Dungeon Busters, which you haven't played, and is another Mayday game. It's very similar to Dungeon Busters, but Dungeon Busters is much lighter and much lower strategy than Truck Off, which leaves us with Good Critter, to which Sam gave a 4 and I gave a 3. So the only things we disagreed on were these two, which we flip-flopped. So do you want to talk about Good Critter first?
Sure. I mean, for me, one, it's just I do like Mafia-style games, and I am constantly faced with friends who do not want to play Mafia-style games. That being said, a lot of them are like, we love Secret Hitler. This seems like potentially a slightly more simple and structured version of that. And going up to 8 players is a big win in the party environment for me. So to me, that's why I have this higher than Koi.
Yep.
Because I think, my friend group likes to keep it a little bit more light.
Yep. I also think you've hit on something, which is that while I rank this one higher than this one, I think this one hits the table more often than this one.
Yeah.
You find more situations where you have a group that is willing to play Good Critters than for Koi in my friend group as well. Because I don't have as many this side of the table gets to the table, or this side of the shelf gets to the table way less than that side of the shelf.
As you can tell by the number of things that are still packaged.
Yeah. I actually ordered that on Kickstarter like 3 years ago.
There you go.
It took 2 years to get to me. It's only sat on the shelf for a year. I think it came in January. So this is roughly how we would rank it, having not played them. I think it is possible that I think the top three are, in this case, are hard to say which gets to the table more. It's very highly dependent on the friend group. I think these both have a lot of similarities in terms of just being able to pick up and play them quickly. This one being more strategic, but they both have similar elements of like you have a set number of options that people know you're choosing from, and they're trying to figure out what you might choose on a given situation. And this one has a loot distribution system. This one has sort of a loot distribution system, but it's random rather than a person picking it. So there's some similarities in terms of like the level of game that you're playing, which is why I think they both hit the table about as often. This one is going to depend on your game group.
100%.
But in our game groups, I think it would hit the table a lot. And in fact, most of the people that I have game nights with play D&D regularly or have done other role playing in the past. So I think they will.
And I think the thing about this that stands aside for me is, one, only cooperative game here, which is fine.
Diversity co-op.
Is it actually co-op?
Yeah, because it's everyone against the corporations.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
But
Yeah.
only one of two.
Yeah.
And very, very different.
Yeah. But what I like here is, and what I'm going to say is true of Diversity as well. But having cooperative games where one really strong player isn't like inclined to just take it over, I think is a huge win. Like Pandemic,
Yes.
I love Pandemic, but if you're a first time player and you don't know and you're playing with a seasoned player, at some point the seasoned player is going to be like, no, you do this, and then this is more effective.
Yep.
Here you can be like, no, Jordan, you're going to tell this part of the story. I'll tell the second one, or we'll pick each dice, or there's just ways to play this that make it accessible to all players in the game group, and that is not always the easiest thing to do with cooperative games.
Yep. The other thing that I'll note here, to build off of what you were saying, is that Untold is the only game here where there is no such thing as winning or losing.
Yeah.
Everyone wins because you have built a story together every time. It's honestly what I think makes role-playing and storytelling so fun and so powerful. And it is also the trap that people fall into when they start doing role-playing games the first time, like D&D or whatever.
Because they want to win.
They want to win, so they turn to power gaming. I say this from experience. I have been a power gamer. Like
I min-maxed the shit out of it.
Yeah. You want to min-max. You try and find like the best combination of powers that make you do this thing where you just kind of roll everything, and it's easy to lose sight of the fact that the point is that you're building a story together, not for yourself, but for the whole group. And I think this game makes that perfect because there is no winning or losing. There is only the story. There is no condition outline here. And because there are no mechanics around doing things other than the randomness of success or failure to your actions, there is very little to power game. It is literally just, I want to make the story interesting, so let's decide what happened based on the inspiration we got.
Yep.
It is pure storytelling, which I think is just fantastic.
And I just don't see myself pulling this out and ever getting stressed about it.
Oh yeah, did you finally did you get the pin, Goofy? The pin that you were waiting for us for like ever? I don't even remember what pin it was anymore.
I don't remember either.
What pin was it, Goofy? Like it was so long. It was such a long saga to try. I mailed it to Goofy Funny, and then it got returned by the post office, and I had to mail it a second time. Like it was a saga. I am so glad that you finally got it. Oh, no, wait, you didn't get it?
Oh, God.
No! I hope you got it and never realized it. Because we definitely mailed it. We 100% mailed it. Like, weeks ago. So, I hope you did get it eventually. Because I would be sad otherwise. Oh, you know what it was? It was it was one of the pins that Steve brought. It was like a like a Twitch arcade pin or something like that. So that is what we have for you today. We just want to give a huge thanks to PSI for sending us the Box of Fun Winter Edition for this year. This is something that they've been doing for a while, I guess, to send demo copies of games to retailers. But they were gracious enough to send it to us as content creators to get to check it out and show you these games. And there are a ton of really awesome games here from a ton of really awesome publishers. So we're excited about it. I bet some of these games are going to be at PAX Unplugged this weekend. Certainly some of the publishers are going to be there. And since these are brand new games, they'll probably be showing them off. So we're very excited. Yes, it was an arcade machine. That's right. Yeah, definitely check Goofy because it 100% got in the mail and did not come back to us this time. They just posted it to me by routine. Yeah, Dark Citadel gets all the prizes now by default. They just, the post office sees something coming from my house here, and they just reroute it to Dark Citadel.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Sounds about right.
So that's all we have for you all tonight. Thank you for stopping by. This was actually a pretty good length stream considering that we didn't play anything, but we did get to check out 6 games, which is awesome. So I would love to do some more stuff like this in the future, just like unboxing stuff and not necessarily playing it because going through the rules enough to be able to play it is sometimes what bogs things down. I like this format a lot. So maybe we'll do this more. Assuming you guys liked it. If you didn't like it, we'll never do it again. But no,
don't tell us. Wait.
No, but seriously, no, this was a lot of fun. I am looking forward to trying out some of these games for real. We will definitely be bringing some of these games back to stream as well. When is the schedule on Twitch going to be updated? Probably in January. So, yeah, apologies for the just like general lack of scheduling lately. I actually just switched jobs, so I don't work at Twitch anymore. I just started at LinkedIn this week. Sam still works at Twitch, shockingly.
I do.
No, but no. So yeah, so I've been like busy interviewing and dealing with switching jobs and a bunch of other stuff, plus holidays, which is why we didn't have streams for a while because I was traveling, then Sam was traveling, then it was the holidays, and it was really just hard to plan with everything that was going on. And I'm leaving tomorrow to go to PAX Unplugged, and then as soon as I get back, Sam's going to Japan for like the rest of the month, 3 weeks. So we will be streaming next week, and we can tell you what we're streaming next week. But because of everything that's been going on and how busy I've been and how busy we've both been, I probably won't make a schedule graphic for this month. We'll try and figure out what's going on for January and make something, because I'll have some time off over the holidays because LinkedIn shuts down for like 10 days or whatever. But next week, yes, thank you, Dark Citadel. It is appropriate. I'm very excited about the new job at LinkedIn. It's pretty awesome. Definitely, you know, a level up in position for me in advancing my career, and I'm excited for it. So yeah, so next week we're going to be doing a tabletop simulator stream of a game that is on Kickstarter now. It is the newest Slugfest game called Unguard. It is not a brand new game, but it is rather a reprint of a game that they published in like 2005 that they haven't had the demand or resources or opportunity to reprint until now. And so what they're doing is they're doing a kit. We'll talk about it more next week, but they're doing a Kickstarter for a print and play through drive-through cards because it is a card game. So it's very cheap. The whole game's only like $20. But then they have a stretch goal on there where if the total campaign reaches $25,000, they will make a full production run with fancy game box and upgraded components and everything for the same price that you would pay for it to get it from Drive-Thru Cards. When I checked earlier, they've already raised a decent amount, like at least $5,000. So they just launched it this week. They're on their way to getting to that stretch goal. And the other cool thing is that if they don't meet the stretch goal, they're going to print the game anyways through the Drive-Thru Cards, and you're going to get it like soon. Like basically when the campaign finishes, they'll immediately order it and it'll get delivered to you in like a matter of weeks. If they do hit the stretch goal, they'll deliver it in May because they'll have to do a full production run and get it manufactured and everything. So that's cool. Basically, if it raises a lot of money, you get a higher quality print. And if it doesn't raise as much money, you get the game faster. So it's kind of a win-win. Super cool game. But we will be talking more about that next week. We are going to have actual Sam from Slugfest Games joining us remotely on the Tabletop Simulator and over Discord. And I believe Cynthia is also going to be back after a long hiatus on Discord. And look, it's our new stream mascot, Cooper the dog. Yay, everyone say hi to the fluffy baby.
Featured on your favorite clip.
Yeah, it's true. This is the guy that punched Sam in the nuts in defense of me, who you could barely see on that clip.
Jordan sucks.
Yeah, that's more time than he's had on the stream in a while. So yeah, that's all we have for you tonight. Thanks so much for stopping by. It was a blast. We appreciate you all coming back after we took a little break, but we will definitely have more stuff for you this month. I'm not sure what we're doing after next week, but we may do some more digital streams. Oh, that reminds me. I didn't set up a command for this because the bot is down right now, and I need to fix that. Yes, Cooper punched Sam in the nuts. There's a clip. If you search through our all-time top clips, it's probably in the top 10 somewhere. Because we show it to people a lot.
Yeah, or you can find the anniversary video.
We also watched it on the anniversary. Oh, wait, we didn't upload the anniversary video. Oh, but the anniversary stream has us playing it at some point. Yeah. So yeah, go check, go find that, go share it. It's hilarious. Sam got punched in the nuts. What do you mean not much in this month? Oh, sorry, I meant December. It feels like December to me at this point. I'm talking about December. Yeah, so the other thing I wanted to talk about, and I put this on Discord already, so go to Discord to check it out, y'all. Humble Bundle, which we are now a partner of as of approximately a month or two ago, is doing another digital tabletop game bundle right now. This one is all games that have been published by Asmodee Digital, and it has, if for $8, you get something ridiculous like 8 or 9 Steam games and like 5 mobile games. There were 5 for Android. I don't know how many there were for iOS. I don't even know if Humble Bundle does iOS because of the way I don't know if you can do third-party App Store stuff on Apple. I don't think so. I don't know how that works. But they have a ton of board games, including Agricola, Colt Express, Small
Splendor.
World, Splendor, and many of those you get both the mobile and Steam version, like Splendor. Yes, please post it in chat. Could be funny. I linked a tweet in Discord. So if you use that link, then you can support the stream. But also just generally, if you're ever buying something on Humble Bundle and you want to support the stream, the purchase section for Humble Bundles has a place to put in a partner code. So if you just put in Tilted Table as all one word, then you can make part of your purchase, whatever you choose, support the stream. And that is just another way to help us out. Yes.
Cool. Thanks for posting the link.
Yes. I don't think that's the referral link for us. But again, as I said, that doesn't really matter because you can enter it later if you want to. You totally don't have to. Either way, you guys should check it out. We will probably be doing some more digital streams in December, either from this Humble Bundle or the last one that they had about a month ago, because we picked up both of those. So look forward to that. Oh, no, it's fine, Goofy Funny. You can find the referral link on Discord or on Twitter.
Can someone mod him? No self-promotion.
Yeah, that's the other thing, Dark Citadel. There's no... no, it wasn't Goofy's referral link. He was just saying he forgot this. Yeah, exactly what Dark Citadel said. There's no beat the average on this one. It is literally $8 flat to get everything, which is incredible. Because Asmodee Digital does some of the best digital board games out there. And they have a huge catalog of games to pull from to make digital games into. So I'm super excited by it. I already downloaded all of the apps for our PAX Unplugged trip because I want to play them on the plane.
Nice.
Yeah. So why are a few called Name the Board Game? I think so, yeah. No, I mean, it's probably a marketing choice that they made to, like, tell people on Android that the game that they were downloading was a digital board game. So they did, like, Pandemic, the board game, or something like that. I think that is literally just, like, a weird marketing choice. Either that or an app by that name already existed in a different context.
Mm-hmm.
And so they had to add the board game when they published it. Hard to say. I don't think that is an Android policy. I think that is just there are some reasons why they chose to make it that.
Yep.
All right. So we'll be back next week. If you are going to PAX Unplugged, say hi. We may do some IRL streaming from PAX, but if not, tune in to Twist Gaming all weekend because they are going to be streaming all day, every day. They have an entire room that they are running at PAX Unplugged this year, which is freaking amazing. And at some point, Sunday morning, early afternoonish, I think I'm going to be making an appearance on Twist Stream, so definitely check that out, y'all.
Cool.
Any final words, Sam?
No.
That was a great final word. All right. We are going to raid our very good friends, the 20 Side of Life.
If they're still live.
If they're still live. And if they're not live, it'll be embarrassing, and you can make fun of Sam. That is Cooper in the background with being a loud doggo, yes. So have a good night, everyone. We will see you all next week for On Guard Kickstarter preview.
Except for me.
Except for Sam. Bye, Sam!
Bye, Sam.